Hi, I'm Claire and this is part 1 of my bookshelf tour. This is a very special video. Fine viewers, this is my 100th video on this channel and I can't actually believe that I've gotten to 100 because I remember how awkward and terrible it was filming my first video. And if you've been around on this channel for any length of time, you've seen me struggling with equipment and lighting and all that kind of stuff, and I'm actually gobsmacked that I got to 100. So thank you for watching, and let's get on with the bookshelf tour. First, I've got this very top shelf, which is single stacked, and then I've got 3 more shelves that are double stacked. There we go, right down to the bottom of the bookshelf. Most of this bookshelf is organized alphabetically by author's name. Here we've got the first shelf, which is single stacked, and the first thing that we've got is Steampunk: The Art of Victorian Futurism by J. Strongman, All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders, a 2016 release, The Broken Sword by Paul Anderson, which is a fantasy masterworks, 2 copies of Time Bomb by Scott K. Andrews, as well as the sequel Second Lives. I got this one last year from Nine Worlds, and this was sent to me by the publisher Hot Escape for review, as well as the arc for Second Lives, which is one of my favorite covers, VN by Madeline Ashby, Alias Grace, and The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. I haven't read either of these, and I also don't have a copy of The Handmaid's Tale, which is the one Margaret Atwood that I have actually read. The Play of Games by Ian M. Banks. This is a culture novel. I got this because one of my best friends, Alistair, of the Moderate Fantasy Violence podcast, really loves Ian M. Banks, and he suggested that I should start the culture with this one, The Weeping Wood by Vicky Baum. This was a present by a very dear friend of mine, and I really like this book, and I don't really have any other like really old looking books, so I think it's quite cool. Karen Memory by Elizabeth Bear, Skulk by Rosie Best, Zoo City by Lauren Bucas, Blackbeard's Pirates versus the Evil Mummies, and Robin Hood versus the Plague Undead by James Black. These were actually written by a friend of mine, and so I bought them because I thought they were hilarious and I wanted to support my friend. They are exactly what it says on the cover. They are delightful and extremely violent. The House of Shattered Wings by Aliette de Bodal, which I believe won a British Fantasy Award very recently. The Woken Gods by Gwenda Bond, A Natural History of Dragons, and The Tropic of Serpents, which are books 1 and 2 in the Memoir by Lady Trent series by Marie Brennan. Midnight Never Come by Marie Brennan. The Demon's Lexicon, which is the debut novel by Sarah Rees Brennan. The Girl Who Tweeted Wolf, Rush Jobs, and Trapped in the Bargain Basement, Hobson and Choi, books 1, 2, and 3 by Nick Bryan, who is a friend of mine and also the co-host of the Moderate Fantasy Violence podcast. The High Druid's Blade by Terry Brooks. This is a Defenders of Shannara book. The Deep Sea Divers Syndrome by Serge Brusselot. This is his first novel translated into English, and I'm going to be doing a review of this one hopefully fairly soon. Then we come to Gail Carriger. This is Soulless, the first novel in her Parasol Protectorate series, and also her debut, and Soulless, the manga volume 1 by Gail Carriger and the Studio Ram, Curtsies and Conspiracies, Waistcoats and Weaponry, Manners and Mutiny, which are books 2, 3, and 4 in her Finishing School series. Then we have Sorcerer to the Crown by Zen Cho, and this is truly the shiniest book of them all. Look at this cover, it's glorious. The Burning Dark by Adam Christopher. Elementary, The Ghost Line, also by Adam Christopher. This is the first tie-in novel for the TV show Elementary, and the second one comes out really soon, and I've got a pre-order on the way. I'm quite excited for Elementary Blood and Ink, because I thought he captured the characters from the show really well. The Mad Scientist's Daughter by Cassandra Rose Clark. The Assassin's Curse and The Wizard's Promise, both by Cassandra Rose Clark. A Hero at the End of the World by my friend Erin Claiborne. This is a loving, satirical take on the Chosen One hero wizarding school narratives, and I did a review of it way back in the day when I was just starting this channel, so it probably looks and sounds awful, but if you want to see it, I will put a card on the screen. Dead and Buried, book 1 in the Out of Orbit series by Shell Cook, and Teeth the First Bite, also by Shell Cook, who is a friend of mine who has been independently publishing her work for a while now. London Falling by Paul Cornell, which is the first book in his Shadow Police series. And finally on this shelf we have Black Feathers, The Black Dawn Volume 1 by Joseph DeLeo. Lacey, and Splinters, short fiction by Joseph de Lacy. This is my second shelf, and as you can see, it is entirely double stacked all the way, so this is going to be a bit tricky for me to film. Homeland and Pirate Cinema, as well as For the Win and Down and Out in the Magic Kingdom, all by Cory Doctorow, as well as The Rapture of the Nerds by Cory Doctorow and Charles Stross, Fearsome Dreamer by Laura Eve, Carmilla by J. Sheridan Le Fanu, Carpathia by Matt Forbeck, a novel in which the survivors of the Titanic get picked up by another ship which is full of zombies, American Gods, and Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman, Extraordinary Engines, a steampunk anthology edited by Nick Jeevers, Randall by Jonathan Gibbs, Neuromancer by William Gibson, The Physics of Sorrow by Georgi Gospodinov, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies by Seth Graham Smith, with a lot of the Jane Austen original text in it as well. This I bought because the movie trailer sounded really fun, but it is in fact very poorly executed and I did not like it at all. Deadline and Blackout by Mira Grant. They are books 2 and 3 in her Newsflesh series. I have the audiobook of the first one, so I haven't purchased a hard copy yet, but this is my favorite zombie thing of all time. I love it. Parasite by Mira Grant. I love her writing. This is Shauna Maguire, by the way, so you will see more of her books in there, even though we're done with the Mira Grant right now. The Earthsea Quartet by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is A Wizard of Earthsea, The Tombs of Atuan, The Farthest Shore, and Tahanu. The Left Hand of Darkness, Planet of Exile, and Rockinon's World, also by Ursula K. Le Guin. I have more Le Guin down in my science fiction masterworks series. Steampunk World, an anthology of steampunk by authors all around the world, edited by Sarah Hans. Dune Messiah, the second Dune novel by Frank Herbert. The Gospel of Loki by Joan M. Harris. And Nosferatu by Joe Hill. Hex by Thomas Holder Ewald, who is a Dutch author who won a Hugo for his short fiction last year. Stone Rider by David Offmeyer. Get ready for all of the Robin Hobb. We have Assassin's Apprentice, Royal Assassin, Assassin's Quest, books 1, 2, and 3 in the Farseer trilogy, Fool's Errand, The Golden Fool, and Fool's Fate, books 1, 2, and 3 in the Tawny Man trilogy. I also own all 3 books in the Lifeship Traders trilogy, but they are at my parents' house in France. The Willful Princess and the Piebald Prince, one of the prettiest books that I own. The Ship by Antonia Honeywell. I'm very much in love with this cover. Nunslinger by Stark Holborn, A Study in Silks by Emma Jane Holloway. Down here we have Plotted by Andrew de Graaf. This is a literary atlas. It's extremely cool. It features illustrations and maps for different works of fiction. Katya's World by Jonathan L. Howard. Memory of Water by Emmy Iteranta. The Rabbitback Literature Society by Pasi Ilmari Jeskalainen. Maya, if I've said these wrong, I'm sorry. I swear I looked it up. Fated by Benedict Jacka. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Banished by Liz de Jager. Kingdom of Gods by N.K. Jemisin. The Trial by Franz Kafka. Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Forest of Memory by Mary Robinette Kowal. This is her new novella for Tor.com. Shades of Milk and Honey and Glamour in Glass by Mary Robinette Kowal. These are books 1 and 2 in her Glamorous Histories series, which I adore. Heaven, the first book in the Afterlife series by Mur Lafferty, as well as Playing for Keeps, a superhero novel, and her Shambling Guide novels, The Shambling Guide to New York City and Ghost Train to New Orleans, Game of Scones, All Men Must Dine, a book of recipes from the TV show Game of Thrones, written by a Jaime Lannister. And I love this book. It's full of puns. Nancy Parker's Diary of Detection by Julia Lee. Wolf's Brother and the Reindeer People by Megan Lindholm. For those of you who don't know, Megan Lindholm is Robin Hobb. That is the name under which she wrote before she took the pen name of Robin Hobb. We won't look at my giant pile of graphic novels just now. I'm going to keep these for the next video to kind of balance out how many books I'm showing you in each. Fool's Assassin by Robin Hobb, signed by the author. This is one of the most beautiful books that I own. Just the gold foil on top of this beautiful, beautiful illustration. Jackie Morris just does wonderful, wonderful work every time. The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu, translated by Ken Liu, the first translated novel ever to win a Hugo Award for Best Novel. The Best of All Possible Worlds by Karen Lord. The Three by Sarah Lotz. The Merchant of Dreams by Anne Lyle. This is the second book in her Night Masks series. The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. The Fangirl's Guide to the Galaxy, a handbook for geek girls by Sam Maggs. Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. The Ice Dragon by George R.R. Martin, illustrated by Louis Royo. The Demon's Watch by Conrad Mason. And finally for this shelf, Discount Armageddon by Shauna Maguire. This one I bought at Worldcon when it was in London a couple years ago, and it is signed by Shauna Maguire herself. It's the first book in the Encrypted series. So here was part one of my bookshelf tour. We'll leave it at that for now because I'm sure this is going to be quite a long video already, and I don't even want to think about editing it because this is quite a lot of footage. And thanks so much everyone for sticking around for so long, for you know, talking to me in the comments and letting me make a whole 100 videos.